Well, hi, welcome again to a reading through of Iliad 16, and I got up to line 101. So Homer likes to move the camera, as it were. So the camera has been focused on Achilles and Patroklos, and suddenly we get a change. We're about to get a change of scene. And so he finishes off that scene by hos hoimen toiauta proselelus agoruon, and thus they were speaking such things to one another. And we get a nice men and a de. But Ajax, Ias, no longer emimne. This is from mimno, another form of meno, often used in Homer in the sense of to stand one's ground. So Ajax no longer was standing his ground, for biasdatot, imperfect without augment, he was hard-pressed beleesin, dative plural, with by missiles. Damna, this is from from damnami, or there is a verb damnao, I think, as well. So the mind of Zeus, or perhaps the intent of Zeus, and the haughty Trojans. Now this is actually singular because it's going with Zeus, the mind, firstly. And so it's a singular verb. So the mind of Zeus, or the intention of Zeus, was taming him, and the haughty Trojans, Balontes, as they were striking him. Denan de pericrotaphoisi phaine. Palax. Now palax is a helmet, and the Danane goes with the Canankane here. His helmet, Balomene, being his bright helmet, being struck, literally had a kanake. That's a sort of clanging kanake. It's probably onomatopoetic, a clanging noise, and I think the Danane goes with that. And held, probably translated maintained. So his helmet, his shining helmet, as it was struck, was maintaining around his crotophos, this is the side of his forehead, his temples, a terrible kanake, a terrible clanging. And balato ie. Now down here we get cap and phala. This is phalara as an alpha elided here. The cap is for kata. The alpha's dropped out for the sake of meter, and the tor, which is an unvoiced dental, turns into an unvoiced labial before the aspirated labial. So it started life as kata, then cat, and then the t becomes a p before the f. So down. So continually he was struck down along. The phalara are probably the cheek pieces on the helmet, these bits that come down the side, and the eupoiet, well made. Others think they may refer to some knobs on the side of the helmet. So you can take a pick there with that. So he was continually struck down the cheek piece, his well-made cheek pieces of the helmet. Hode aristeron omon ekamnen, and he was exhausted from Camno with respect to his left shoulder, which was continually holding empadon, probably something like securely, I think this is an adverb here, continually holding securely his sakos, this is his shield, which is iolos. Iolos can mean glittering, sparkling, sometimes used of snakes, glistening. It could also mean quick moving or nimble, which is another possibility with snakes as well, so you can take a pick here again. Perhaps nimble might be quite good in this sense, in this context. So for he was exhausted in respect to his left shoulder, continually holding securely his nimble shield. Udi adunanto, nor were they able, pelemixai, from pelemizdo, if you're looking it up, pelemizdo is to cause to reel or shake or quiver. And we have to understand the object of this verb is the shield. So they, and then they're pressing against him with their missiles. They were not able, so almost despite the fact they were pressing against him with their missiles, they were not able, pelamixe, to shake, understand it, amph auto, around him. So it's a slightly difficult bit there. So they were unable to shake it from its place around him, literally is that's the meaning of it there, by pressing hard with their missiles. So it's a lovely picture. Ajax is standing there very firm, holding without it even moving this shield, defending himself from the missiles, but in a very human way, and Homer loves to do this, he adds in he was exhausted from doing it. He still adds that human touch in to this hero. Ie agale eket asmati, and continually, literally, he was held, and then this is a passive here, I think. He was held, that's an op, is elided and there's no augment. So he was held with literally a painful panting, or perhaps some translators say laboured breathing. So he was continually held with painful panting. Now cad, again we get this kata, alpha's dropped out, the tor becomes a delta before the delta here. This is a dental, this is an unvoiced dental, so the tor, which is it's a voiced dental, so before the tor, which is an unvoiced dental, becomes a voiced dental before the delta here. So again it's kata, and it's probably going with the eren on the next line from reo. Hydros, third declension, sweat poured, so much sweat poured down, pantoth then from everywhere, from his limbs, perhaps in all directions, from his limbs. Udi pe aiken ampenusai, nor literally did he have in any place to draw breath. So nor was there anywhere that he could draw breath. Almost, nor did he have the opportunity to draw breath. Pante is adverbial, but everywhere. The subject of the verb is kakon. Este ricto is a pluperfect from ste risdo. So had been, that's pluperfect passive, had been laid. The verb means to set or to fix, ste risdo. Everywhere, evil, we might say, was laid, or trouble was laid upon trouble. Evil was fixed with evil. And it's a pluperfect passive. Now, very interesting thing happens here. This happens occasionally during the Iliad at various points, where Homer again has an invocation of the Muses. He uses this technique here especially when some major event is about to occur. And the major event here is going to be the setting fire of the ships, because we've had that threat mentioned a lot in earlier books. Achilles has said, when that happens, then I'll do something, I'll take some action. So this is a really major turning point, and when that happens in the Iliad, Homer invokes the Muses. The esbete is from enepo. There's various digammas and things that have disappeared from the verb, and hence that sigma comes back in. Esbete, so it's an epic aorist imperative from enepo. So, tell now to me, O Muses, you who hold the Olympian houses, how, indeed, at first, fire, empese, from empipto, fell upon the ships of the Achaeans. Just 2 lines, but very, very poignant here. Hektor, so Hektor, parastas anchi, standing near, plaxe, from plaso, he struck with his great sword, from aor. So he struck with his great sword the melenon, doru. Now doru means wood, but it's used by metonymy. It comes to mean the spear. Melenon means it's ashen, made from ash wood. So Hector, standing very near, he broke with his great sword the ashen spear of Ajax. Aigmes parakalon opisthen, from behind, beside the kaulon. Now a kaulos is a spear shaft. It's got a range of meanings, but it's used in Homer as of a spear shaft. So from behind, beside the spear shaft of the spear, the aigme. Aigme is in fact just it's the sharp end of the spear. But often you just translate it as spear. So from behind, beside the shaft of his spear, anticrew aparaxi. This is from ap-arasso, apot plus arasso. He struck it off, anticrew, utterly or outright. So he struck it right off. Didn't just partially bend, he smashed it right off. He broke it off utterly. Tomin telemonius ias. Now the tomin, you don't often translate the top here. We've got a det here. It's just the next thing really. So telemonian Ajax. Pele. Now this is from palo, to brandish. Autos, just as it was. So in other words, uselessly. So it's sort of, if you want to do anything with this, it's on the one hand, Ajax, telemonian Ajax, brandished uselessly, or brandished just as it was, this wooden colon, stump, in Kari, in his hand. Tele ap autu aigme calcae. Now, as I mentioned before, the aigme is the spear head. So the bronze spear head, having fallen, pesusa, from Pipto, having fallen far from him onto the ground, and bombasi, eris from bombio, it made a ringing noise. Bombio is can be used to bees buzzing. It made a sort of ringing noise. Gnoda ias katathumon amumana rige sinte ergathion. And Ajax, now gno is from gnosko, of course, but I think realized here is probably better. So Ajax realized or understood it was in his noble thumos. I generally translate amumona as noble rather than blameless, although it is etymologically connected with being blameless. But it's used of people who are generally not blameless, but they are noble. So I generally prefer to translate this as noble rather than blameless here, but it's up to you. So Ajax realized in his noble heart that it was understood the works of the gods. Rige sente, and he shuddered, from rigio. Hot as often in Homer for haughty, because now the epi is a preverb with chaire, and you have to, I think we have to understand, oh no, Zeus, the subject's down here. So Zeus, the Hopsi Bremetes, the high roaring Zeus, this is from Bremo to roar. So high roaring Zeus, Epikeire, had cut off Panku utterly, had cut off his media, his skill, his tricks, his skills, makes, in war, defining genitive there. We'll just do that bit again quickly there. So for Ajax realized or understood that it was the works of the gods in his noble heart, and he shuddered. But because high roaring Zeus had completely cut off his skill in battle, and he, that is Zeus, he wished or wanted victory for the Trojans. Kadzeto dec belion. Kadzeto is to, he withdrew, so this is now Ajax. So Ajax withdrew ek belion, literally from the missiles, so from the barrage of missiles. So he was the last really hope, he was the last one defending the ships from being set fire to. Toi dembalon akanata por, and they, emballon, from embellow, no augment, so they cast untiring fire into, for the M here, into the swift ship. And ipsa, suddenly, the unquenchable flame, phlox, asbeste is its alpha privative from the, and then the root spenumi, to quench. So we get our word asbestos, of course, because it's fireproof, but very dangerous. Building material, we now know, and the kata goes with the kekuto from keo. So suddenly, the tastes, I think, must be referring back to the ship, and it's really combined with the genitive. So after kata, so unquenchable fire poured down suddenly on it, taste, on the ship. Hos, and thus the fire, amphepen, this is from amphihepo, literally to go all around. The prumne is the stern of the ship, and the tane is probably again referring back to the ship, and this is an accusative of respect, so it's something, or you could take the tane just with the prumne. Perhaps I'm trying to be too clever here, but the fact that you've got a men in between makes me wonder a little bit. But so it may be that the fire, amphepin, something like lapped around the ship with respect to its stern, or you could just say the fire lapped around the stern. But Achilles, plexamenos, from play so to strike. Having struck, Mero is a duel, his two thighs. He addressed Patroklos, so he's taken aback. He slaps himself on his two thighs and he addresses Patroklos. Orsio, arise from Ornumi. Patroklos descended from Zeus and one who gives orders to horses, so a bidder of horses. Luso Day, indeed I see the Ioane, well, literally a rush. It is connected with verb of movement, I think, translated as blaze here, the blaze or the rush of destructive fire beside the ships. So I see indeed the blaze of destructive fire beside the ships. Now, may at the beginning, and same in later Greek as well, you often have to supply something like beware. Beware lest, or see to it lest, Helusi, they, this must be the Trojans, they take the ships. Hyrio can be used in the sense of to kill, or perhaps almost to destroy, lest they take hold of the ships or they destroy the ships, perhaps. Kai uk eti fukta pelontai. Fukta is a neuter plural from an adjective. It's obviously from fugo, to escape or to flee. It's fairly rare. It probably has the sense here of opportunities for fleeing. And it's neuter plural, but it's plural verb. And there will be no longer any opportunities for fleeing. I think is about the best I can do with that. Ducio, again, second person imperative from Duno. So put on quickly, tukia, the armour. But I, egero, I will gather. I think it's with a care, I would gather. So this is a subjunctive, and I would gather the laon, the host. This refers, of course, to the myrmidons. And that is the next part of Book 16.